welcome to your Macon-Bibb Beat, your one-stop shop for all your Macon-Bibb County news. I'm Lori Johnson. Each week, we take you through what's happening in your neighborhood, from North Macon to South Bibb and everywhere in between. An 18-year-old still unaccounted for after a shooting, arson, and kidnapping. Bibb deputies say Nicholas Floyd shot a 52-year-old woman, then set her house on fire. That's when a report says he took a child to a different home on Summerhill Drive. SWAT teams moved in, rescued the 12-year-old, but Floyd ran away. Deputies returned to that Summerhill Drive house, but Floyd wasn't there. Authorities said he was armed and dangerous. The sheriff's office is asking anyone who sees Floyd to stay away and call 911. But a close relative to Floyd is telling us a different story and contradicts much of what the sheriff's office told us Wednesday. Jasmine Lee sat down with Floyd's aunt, who says she raised him and knows he wasn't in his right mind Tuesday night.
Near the home where deputies say Nicholas Floyd was last seen this week. His aunt tells me the story shared by the Bibb County Sheriff's Office doesn't match what the family says really happened.
He is a good kid. He just got caught up.
Stephanie Simonton says she raised 18-year-old Nicholas Floyd from the time he was 5 up until he moved out last year at 17. She says the move was about more than independence. He wanted to build a bond with his siblings, something he never had in her home.
I don't think this is a criminal act. It's more of an ongoing family dispute.
The Bibb County Sheriff's Office says he's accused of setting a fire, shooting a woman, and barricading himself in a home with a 12-year-old on Tuesday. But Simonton told me the fire started from food left on the stove and that a fire investigator confirmed it was accidental. She told us he didn't shoot the woman and never barricaded himself in a Summerhill Drive home, but she admits he had a gun that night. She believes Floyd took a bad drug laced with fentanyl and wasn't in his right mind.
He loved his mom. He loved living there. The Nicholas I know would have never started a fire.
She says it all started during a walk from Madden Avenue to his father's house on Summerhill Drive. Floyd, his mother, and his 12-year-old little brother argued. She says the mother walked away, but Floyd and his brother kept going.
They're brothers. They live together. They love each other. Nicholas would never harm his brother.
Simonton says she's not excusing what happened, but she's asking Floyd to come back home safely.
You need to come home. So please come home and let's do this together.
Reporting in Macon, Jasmine Lee, 13 WMAZ News.
Jasmine reached out to the sheriff's office to confirm Simonton's side of the story, but they declined to comment. They say Floyd is still missing. Anyone with information can call Macon Regional Crime Stoppers at 1-877-68-CRIME. A second man is in jail in connection with a 2023 Macon homicide. U.S. Marshals arrested 19-year-old Tylon Alexander. He's accused of shooting and killing David Morgan at the Safe Haven mobile home park almost 2 years ago. Last week, U.S. Marshals also arrested 44-year-old Tyrone Briscoe. Both have been charged with murder and are being held without bond in the Bibb County Jail. And a Macon man is behind bars charged with kidnapping and sexual assault. Deputies arrested 47-year-old Antonio Kaplan. They say he offered a ride to someone on July 15th on Eisenhower Parkway near Fulton Mill Road. When the person refused, Kaplan reportedly fired his gun nearby, then sexually assaulted them. Kaplan drove the victim to a convenience store on Sardis Church Road, where they escaped and called 911. Deputies say Kaplan ran from the scene but was later arrested. Right now, Kaplan's being held without bond at the Bibb County Jail. He's charged with kidnapping and rape. Mayor Lester Miller says they're making progress improving Bibb County's overcrowded jail. County leaders are 6 weeks into the mayor's 6-point plan. Mayor Miller says he's satisfied with the progress made so far. He says they've cut the jail population and taken steps toward a jail expansion.
Most of the problems that we have seen and recovered through the audit now are not problems involving necessarily just building a new jail. They're operational, they're procedural, they're managerial, they're staffing, those types of things. So all those are being addressed by the people that can make those decisions in the room.
We told you the court system recently cut bonds for eligible inmates. That's helped reduce the inmate count down by about 100 since June. At least 15 inmates are now out of the jail with ankle monitors, and a task force of prosecutors, judges, and other criminal justice leaders met again. Mayor Miller says they found a consistent lag between indictments and arraignments. Now they're trying to speed that up.
You're in jail and nothing's going on for a year. You feel like you're just doing dead time in a jail without having the evidence in your case. Well, you don't get the evidence until you get arraigned. And in my opinion, it's taken entirely too long to get an arraignment, sometimes up to a year, when in the past it's been 45 to 60 to 90 days.
The mayor says they've gotten some interest from 8 builders to expand the jail. The top 3 will submit designs. Mayor Miller says the expansion could add 100 to 150 beds with dedicated medical and mental health spaces for inmates. In less than 24 hours, 3 swimmers were pulled from the Okmogi River near Emerson River Park. Officials wrapped up their investigation while families are still mourning an unthinkable loss. 28-year-old Johnny Collins III, 10-year-old Skylar Worthen, and 7-year-old Summer McCray drowned Tuesday night. Officials say the children drifted into deeper water and Collins tried to save them, but all went under. Family members told us they spent the night searching through darkness and mud.
We pretty much exhausted every resource that we could, Mr. Frog. We really do appreciate Macon-Bibb Dive Team, the Macon-Bibb Fire Department, Department of Georgia Natural Resources, and the Georgia State Patrol. We pretty much was able to locate each and every last one of them, and we just want you all to please keep the family in your thoughts.
Their deaths marked at least 11 we've reported on at Emerson River Park since 2020. And Jasmine Lee talked with the loved ones of Johnny Collins III to share how they're remembering a man who died loving and protecting his family.
I never would have thought that a river would be the reason my brother is no longer here.
On Tuesday night, Samantha Taylor received a phone call she never imagined. Her brother Johnny Collins was missing, swept away in the Okmogi River at Emerson Park. The search lasted several hours, but Taylor was right there, helping alongside rescue teams and the community, hoping for a miracle.
My brother, he did what he had to do to try to save those babies. And that's just the type of person he was. And she's not alone. The shock and pain have been hard to process for the whole family.
I'm just still having trouble just wrapping my mind around it.
His brother Kenshaw Atkins told me Johnny was more than just a brother. He was a beloved local DJ whose passion for music made him a familiar and uplifting presence in the Macon community. Beyond the stage, he was a loving father to 4 children and a loving father figure to Summer and Skylar, embracing them as his own.
I knew my brother could handle himself out there in that water. And I didn't look at it like he basically gave his life to save those 2 girls. And that says a lot about him.
But despite the heartbreak, Atkins hopes people remember his brother not just for his talent, but for his heart and for the sacrifice he made to protect the children he loved.
I'm gonna make sure that me, my family, his friends continue on his legacy, and he's never forgotten.
And if Samantha could have one more moment with her brother,
I really wish he was here because we had so much more to do and so many more things to do as a family.
And while the family works to keep Johnny's memory alive, his brother Kenshaw says he's also focused on pushing Bibb County leaders to make the river safer so no other family has to feel this kind of pain. For years, Central Georgia travelers have had to make the trek to Atlanta for affordable flight options. But that could change with a new airline partnership. Hunter King shows us how Spirit Airlines is bringing low-cost travel right to Macon's doorstep.
It's now a reality that you could be coming through TSA soon here at the Middle Georgia Regional Airport, putting your items in the bin and then hopping on a Spirit Airlines flight. The airport has been working to develop more commercial air service. Spirit will offer twice weekly nonstop flights to Fort Lauderdale starting in mid-October. The introductory fare, $49 each way.
We've been working very hard to build air service here over the last several years, and bringing in a carrier like Spirit Airlines, which is an affordable carrier.
The choice of Fort Lauderdale wasn't random. Bayor says data shows South Florida is one of the most traveled destinations from Central Georgia. From Fort Lauderdale, passengers can connect to the Caribbean and other U.S. cities. Frequent traveler Ari Hagler says the service would eliminate the hassle of driving to Atlanta's airport.
Oh, definitely. A whole lot easier, you know. ain't got to deal with that traffic for one. You know what I'm saying? First, a lot of people don't know about it now.
The biggest pain?
Traffic. The traffic and the price of parking. You know, and then possibly get lost in the parking lot like I always do. I can't find my car.
Middle Georgia Regional Airport currently handles about 15,000 passengers a year through Contour Airlines flights to Washington, D.C. Macon-Bibb hopes adding Spirit will help them reach 30,000 passengers and attract more airlines.
Success builds success. So if this flight is successful, which we anticipate it being, it's likely the carrier would add additional destinations.
Reporting from Middle Georgia Regional Airport, Hunter King, 13 WMAZ News.
Spirit's flights will happen on Thursdays and Sundays, and they start in mid-October. You can book tickets starting now at spirit.com. And Fort Lauderdale isn't the airport's only new destination. Contour Airlines began nonstop service to Dulles Airport, just 26 miles from downtown Washington. They used to run flights to Baltimore. Contour flights, unlike Spirit, are subsidized by the federal government, which covers about 2/3 of operating costs. And the airport isn't just adding flights, it's adding more space. We told you about the $13 million project earlier this year. Sheridan Construction will build a one-of-a-kind guitar-shaped terminal at the airport. And construction for a runway extension is already underway to make way for bigger planes to land right here in the heart of Georgia.
The airport is rapidly changing, and our mayor made mention in a speech that he gave a little over a year ago. When you come back to this airport in 3 to 5 years, you won't recognize it. And he's 100% accurate. We have a lot that's happening, so and we're very proud of what we're doing.
Construction started in May. Right now, airport leaders hope to complete all their current projects by 2028. A Central Georgia nonprofit says President Trump's tax bill will make it harder for people with disabilities to receive their services. They also say it puts their funding at risk. Olivia Dunn spoke with leaders and a mom about their concerns.
The light of my life.
Linda Hayes says her son Daryl Jr. is her world. He was diagnosed as being profoundly intellectually disabled when he was a child and also has Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. That's a condition that causes life-threatening seizures. He now lives at a residential program through the Ark Macon. The agency provides activities, employment, and living options for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
He requires 24-hour care, and we are so grateful for the Ark because of the way they provide that for him.
The Ark Macon gets most of their funding from Medicaid waivers that pay for home and community-based services. But President Trump's tax bill passed this month changes the application process for that waiver. Now it requires reapplication every 6 months instead of once a year. Hayes says she supports the bill, just not the hoops that families like hers must jump through.
The world at large sees people with disabilities as non-productive members of society. When we can't get services for them, the whole family becomes non-productive.
Katrina Spooner, Chief Administrative Officer with the Ark, says she fears the changes the bill may bring.
And I don't see the positive impact of this bill, and so that's what makes me really, really worried.
She says although the change seems small, it's a huge unnecessary barrier for those seeking or trying to maintain care. The more steps in the process, the more likely adults at the Ark are to lose care.
I see this essentially being neglect, because I think that there are going to be more people not receiving care, not because they're not eligible, but simply because they've made it harder to maintain this coverage.
In Macon, Olivia Dunn, 13 WMAZ News.
President Trump calls the tax law his One Big Beautiful Bill Act and signed it into law on July 4th. Macon's Chamber of Commerce says they'll pay you to move to town. It's part of their Choose Macon initiative aimed at bringing 10 new households here. Olivia Dunn talked to the Chamber of Commerce about what they're doing and also heard from one of our newest Maconites.
AJ Anastos says he has no regrets about moving to Macon. Stratford Academy's tennis coach says he followed his family here after hurricanes caused heavy damage to his Tampa Bay home last fall.
So between the cost of living, the culture of Macon, and the people, and that southern hospitality, I don't think you can go wrong.
J.R. Olive, VP of Operations at the Greater Macon Chamber of Commerce, says he wants more people to have experiences like AJ's. That's why the Chamber launched the Choose Macon initiative with an organization called Make My Move. They promise over $7,000 in incentives for people who move to Macon and work here. Olive says it's also about bringing pride.
Exciting things that are going on and really plugging people into that so that they feel excited about where they are if they currently live here and want to stay here, and then also attracting new people.
The Chamber will select 10 households, and they're aiming for $1 million in household income. Olive says that will help boost a population that has been stagnant for years.
Census numbers say Bibb County has been growing since the turn of the century, but taken a bit of a dip in 2020. That's exactly why the Chamber of Commerce has launched this new program to bring in more people and money to Macon.
If we have a higher median income and people making a salary that allows them to take advantage of those type of shops and stores and entertainment.
In other words, new people bring new money. In Macon, Olivia Dunn, 13 WMAZ News.
Eligible applicants must show proof of residence and employment as well as pass a background check. Olive says they've had around 150 applicants already. More speed zone camera funds are heading to Bibb County schools with less than 3 weeks to go until the new school year. But district leaders say they're still awaiting nearly $4.5 million in funding approved last school year. Olivia Dunn sat down with the superintendent to track down the money.
Bibb County School District says 28% of their students missed more than 18 days of school last year. Superintendent Dan Sims says that school attendance is a persistent problem.
We need students in classrooms every single day learning. We need to do more in that space.
Tuesday night, Bibb County commissioners approved $345,000 of school zone camera revenue for the district. It will fund truancy officers for 3 years to keep children in the classroom.
If a student is in a classroom consistently, they are going to grow and learn. And if they are not, there will be gaps.
Now, along with last night's approvals, Bibb County School District has had millions in school camera revenue funds approved to amp up other safety measures. However, 13 WMAZ confirmed that money still hasn't arrived.
In November, the commission approved $3.5 million to fund school zone lights, bring in more crossing guards, and install flock cameras. Then in April, they set aside another $1 million to fund resource officers and install new crosswalks. But none of those improvements have happened yet, and the district says they haven't got any of that money. Mayor Lester Miller says the money is ready and waiting.
The school system was a little behind, but they didn't know they were supposed to do purchase orders. So we have the funds there. They're still committed to be appropriated. We haven't transferred the funds yet because they have to jump through a few hoops.
Sims says he's aware what the district must do to receive the funds, and he plans to talk about that at Thursday's school board meeting.
We know we're receiving the funds, and we'll follow the processes.
Okay. In Macon, Olivia Dunn, 13 WMAZ News.
Mayor Miller says once the district submits paperwork and gets approval, the county can transfer the funds, which usually takes about 30 days. This week, Macon-Bibb County, its Urban Development Authority, and Newtown Macon finalized a $2 million deal for 10 acres north of Emerson River Park. They're hopeful the land purchase will bring new life to the riverside and help get the Okmogi Mounds closer to national park status. Maggie Fitzgerald breaks down what we know about the latest investments.
I just remember coming here a lot during field trips as a kid. In my adult life, I hadn't been here in a while, so when I came, I was like, I fell back in love with the trail and the scenery and the beauty of it all.
Lifelong Maconite Brandy Aaron prefers wildlife and historic sites for her weekday workouts. The Okmogi Heritage Trail now set to stretch further north through a $2.1 million deal made possible by SPLOST funds and investments from Newtown Macon and the Urban Development Authority, which means better park connection and a new challenge.
By the time it gets finished, I'll be a little bit more shape and I can go a little longer, run a little further.
Now, the trail extension would connect areas north of Emerson all the way down to the Okmogi Mounds. That's 450 acres of green space in total. But an additional land donation by GDOT also marks the latest effort to help reach that national park status. GDOT's 136-acre donation along I-16 is part of the recent efforts to support the push for the mounds to become the 64th national park.
This donation really shows that the state of Georgia is serious about supporting
the conservation landscape and the cultural landscape of Middle Georgia.
It all comes as Mayor Pro Tem Seth Clark and the Okmogi National Park Initiative team pieced together a strategic plan surrounding the mound's future as they await next steps for lawmakers to pass bipartisan legislation for more funding.
I think they all understand that the reason it's so important is that we have this opportunity of having a national park right in our backyard as an urban center. We will be one of the only cities that offer that gateway experience to a national park in the country.
In Macon, Maggie Fitzgerald, 13 WMAZ News.
The Okmogi National Park Initiative held public input meetings across Central Georgia last month. Clark says the next round of meetings with the group are scheduled for September, and this isn't the first time leaders have talked about expanding the Okmogi Heritage Trail. In March, Maconites met to discuss a proposed nature trail connecting North Highlands Park, Jackson Springs Park, and the Okmogi Heritage Trail. At the meeting, many people told us they would not support the trail unless there was a larger police presence and ongoing cleanup efforts. Others told us it would be a great way to bring Macon closer together.
I especially like the idea of connecting the parks. I walk often down to the Camellia Park, Jackson Springs Park, but to be able to connect it to North Highlands Park, which is, it would be ideal.
The trail would be privately funded through Newtown Macon. So far, they've not released a timeline for the project's next steps. The Middle Georgia Regional Library announced they're closing their Riverside branch and opening a new location in North Macon. Olivia Dunn talked to library leaders about this next chapter and to one Macon resident who's been going there since the beginning.
We came today, so
Lalita Wirsuria has been coming to the Riverside Library for 26 years.
This library, from the time it opened, and so from the time this opened, this was our library.
Wirsuria sat in the library Monday with her grandson just 6 days before it closes for good and moves to Forsyth Road. She says she's disappointed the branch so close to her home is closing, but she's hopeful the new library will be even better.
It's really convenient. And the people here are really nice, but I'm sure they'll be moving to the new one.
Andrew Willis is the marketing coordinator for Middle Georgia Regional Library. He says Bibb County can fund only one of the two branches in North Macon and that they've outgrown Riverside.
The services that we offer have expanded and the needs of patrons have changed. And so, with opening the new space at 5494 Forsyth Road, that's going to be a more up-to-date library branch. We think it'll better serve the needs of the community.
Now, although we don't know when the new library will open, we do know that this is where it will go on Forsyth Road. Willis tells me it'll be equipped with new technology and a new outdoor space, but the staff will remain the same.
We do anticipate that our current staff at the Riverside Library will be able to resume their positions at the library branch at 5494 once it is open.
Turning the page and starting a new chapter. In Macon, Olivia Dunn, 13 WMAZ News.
Willis says the new location will open in about 6 months. As you heard, it is on Forsyth Road near Bass Road. Riverside will remain open until this Sunday, July 27th, and you can return books to the drop box there until August 1st. Students are heading back to the classroom, which means parents are hitting the stores, hoping to stretch their dollars on everything from notebooks to new shoes. But with rising costs, there has to be a way to stay on budget. Naomi Washington shares some ways to save on school supplies.
I'm looking for all kinds of stuff.
Stuff on her daughter's school supply list that she needs to shop strategically for so she doesn't break the bank. Allison Pierce says her daughter is entering pre-K.
I'm looking for school supplies, a backpack, looking for clothes, and actually I buy stuff here at Walmart. I also do the consignments in the area.
NerdWallet, a personal finance website, conducted a 2025 survey. They estimated that the average American parent who's shopping will spend on average $741 on school supplies.
I'm mainly buying things with my debit card. It's, I'm trying my best to avoid putting things on my credit card, trying to pay down some of that debt because I do have credit card debt, but it's tight.
NerdWallet says that more than half of parents plan to do back to school shopping with a credit card. But you have to be strategic because 13% of those parents also say they'll go into debt paying for supplies. So before you grab onto a shopping cart, see which local organizations are doing supply drives and giveaways first. Macon Salvation Army pastor Nancy Fuller says they are trying to help families complete their long school supply list with Friday's Stuff the Bus drive.
It's just a good feeling to know that people are still caring, that they can go in and buy a $1 notebook and bring it back out to us, and they feel like they've done something.
They say they will give supplies away to their Salvation Army shelter families first, then give the rest to other families who reach out.
It's a long list, and if you have 3, 4, 5 kids in the family, there's no way that you can get everything on that list.
Another tip: take a look at what you already have before hitting the stores. A lot of supplies like pencils, folders, and notebooks with blank pages left can and should be used again. After last week's fierce competition, the winner of this year's Downtown Macon French Fry Fight has been crowned. Macon Water Ice is taking home this year's Super Spud Trophy for their Buffalo Mac and Cheese fries. This is just their 3rd year in downtown Macon and 2nd year joining the fry fight. Macon Water Ice beat out 22 other restaurants to take home the top prize, including last year's winner, Cashman's Pub. While they specialize in water ice, they also sell a variety of entrees, including wings and, of course, French fries.
It feels very good. We didn't get in it the first 2 years, so the last 2 years we got in it. So this year I want to do something very different. Try some homemade mac and cheese with our buffalo chicken fries, and came out on top.
The winning French fry dish isn't currently on their permanent menu, but Macon Water Ice says they are trying to get to a plan to remedy that very soon. A Macon tennis coach is making a grand return to the court this month. Before she was coaching young Eagles at Stratford Academy, Jamie Kaplan was a tennis star. Her high point, playing in one of the world's most famous tournaments, Wimbledon. This month, she went back for the 40th anniversary of her final appearance as a competitor. Ellie Milliken has the story.
Jamie Kaplan grew up in Macon playing tennis her whole life. She played at Stratford, where she was undefeated in singles and doubles. Then she played in college at the University of Georgia and Florida State before becoming a professional. She played in 14 Grand Slams and 5 times at Wimbledon. And 40 years after stepping off the court, she returned to the legendary event in London.
A year ago, July, I was, I wanted to go, but I didn't know if I'd even be here this July. And so about, February? March, we started making plans.
The big trip across the pond motivated Kaplan through 6 months of chemotherapy and high-dose radiation in 2023 and 2024 for pancreatic cancer. She lost 20 pounds and is still in chemotherapy. This is the 2nd time she's fought cancer. Kaplan overcame leukemia about a decade ago. Her friend Jeff Batcher encourages her to keep fighting and plan the summer trip to Wimbledon.
To go, first of all, for that experience for Jamie was just so heartfelt and for me, but then knowing I'm at Wimbledon as well, where she played, it meant a great deal to me and something I'll never, ever forget.
Batcher and Kaplan have been friends since they went to Stratford together, and now their friendship is tighter than ever. Going back to England meant everything to her.
The most incredible of the 4 Grand Slams, and I kind of had the feeling I had 40 years ago when I first stepped on the grounds with my mom and my sister.
Kaplan got exclusive access from tennis TV commentator Virginia Wade and former professional Katrina Adams. She even got a towel from current player Martina Navratilova. The Stratford legend enjoyed eating her way through the tournament, including the famous strawberries and cream, while making great memories with friends.
Live each day. I know it's a gift that I'm still here. When I had leukemia, a little motto, let go and let God. And so that's, again, been my motto, let go and let God.
Both Batcher and Kaplan are planning a trip back to Wimbledon next year. They'll be kicking off next June. It's tournament time for Central Georgia's Macon Nike RBI team. They recently prepared for this year's RBI Southeastern tourney. The squad shocked the league last year, upsetting the runners-up. Just 5 years after the program started, the players earned their first trip to the World Series. And as Sammy Costa shows us, they're hungry for more.
We had the opportunity of going to the World Series, and
with us going there, we should be able to know that we could possibly go back as long as we just play good and keep our confidence up.
As kids come in from Dublin, Wilkinson County, Milledgeville, Macon, and even South Atlanta, each year welcomes a new challenge for the Macon Baseball Club.
We'll be able to just communicate with each other, get to know each other more, and just be able to build a bond with each other.
Last year we had a team whose greatest asset was defense. They were defensively stout behind the plate. They were stout in the infield. We had an outfield that we aptly named the no-fly zone.
Adding in new players each season creates another challenge for head coach Michael Rogers. He says each year he has to find the right position for each athlete.
And we have a lot of depth at each position, so the challenge for the coaches will be trying to figure out who blends well with whom in those situations. But either way, it's a good problem to have.
Now the team is preparing to defend its Southeastern Championship. Coach Rogers knows to expect the best from the opposing teams.
You're going to see the best that they have because they know that the path to the championship will go through Macon.
While the program strengthens baseball skills, it also helps build character for the young athletes.
It's helped me become a man, really. Time management, discipline, just being a better person, like being a good character.
Christian Hill is a former player and now serves as a team intern. He's a Macon RBI product who's taking his baseball talent to college, and that proves the impact of the MLB project.
The program has been successful. In 6 years now, we've sent 19 kids, softball and baseball, to college. We just had our first 2 graduates. We had one who just graduated this past spring from Georgia Southern, who was a 3-year player, and another who was a 4-year player who just graduated from Penn State.
That's amazing. RBI stands for Revitalizing Baseball in Inner Cities. Now the softball team made it to the Southeast Championship but lost to Atlanta. And that's the final note in this week's edition of the Macon-Bibb Beat. If you have a Macon-Bibb County story you want us to share, email us at news@13wmaz.com. And make sure you come back each Wednesday to get all the news and stories that matter to you. Thank you for joining us for your Macon-Bibb Beat.